These are 6 ways, again, using principles taken from positive psychology, but these are the new happiness habits that we want you to form. And these are just the headings. Within these, you'll develop your own habits that work for you and that really support you. But these are the 6 steps to happiness. And the rest of the program will be a whole session on each one of these in turn, but just to give you something to walk away with, something to think about in the meantime. Before I do, I've got to show you this picture. This is a photo of my daughter. She's really happy that I'm sharing this with you. And this is a moment a couple of years ago where she's had a bit of a tough time, bless her. Nightmare at school, studying was really hard. She was going through her GCSEs. She'd been desperately ill with glandular fever and everything had been going wrong. And I spent a long time, we talked an awful lot. And we talked about a lot of the principles around positive psychology. We didn't label it as such. We talked about what were the things that she could do. And that summer, we went away on holiday. We climbed this huge mountain. She got to the top at sunset and she just threw her head back and went, that's it. I'm finding myself, because she took these steps to happiness. So we can, if she can do it at the age of 16, hey, we can learn something from that. Here's the first one. Choose happy. Make it a positive choice. Decide to be happy. It might sound simple, but you know the people around you, my neighbor, you can all think of people in your lives that have not chosen happiness as a way of life for them. So define yourself as happy. Allow yourself to be happy. Please give yourself permission to be happy. So that whole session is all about how you can make that as a positive choice for yourselves. Find inspiration around you to support you and people that will support you to choose happy. The next one we look at is be happy. And this is where we pick up on the strengths and values that I mentioned earlier on and how important it is to know what they are. So we'll spend a bit of time helping you to explore and understand what your strengths and virtues are as an individual. There's questionnaires we can point you to, but really to help you understand. Research shows that you can be up to 3 times happier when you are working in your own personal flow. So we'll show you how to understand what those strengths and values are and how you can work to those strengths and operate within those strengths to really, truly be happy. I love this next one. Celebrate happy. Practice gratitude. Make it a way of life. We talked to me earlier about not only changing behaviors, but practice and reinforcing. Celebrating really, really does that. Some schools of positive psychology talk about gratitude and how we can practice gratitude. So a lot of it is about thankfulness. The interesting thing here is I often think there's a correlation here between the gratitude that we talk about in positive psychology and an awful lot of belief systems will use similar practices. So a lot of faith systems will talk about praying and thanking their particular belief, whoever their belief is, thanking them for the good things that have happened to them. It's no different. Practicing gratitude is a really good way. And we often talk about actually being grateful, and we'll explore this in the session, about actually being grateful before it has even happened, having that belief that this can actually happen to us. So we'll explore that in a bit more detail. Reflect happy. This is where we will, and we'll specifically talk about journaling here. This is where I do my open and honest share with you all. This is the one I personally was the most skeptical about. How will journaling, writing something down, actually help me to be a happier person? Again, this is all backed up in research, but there's huge power in journaling and helping us to process our thinking and have clarity around our thoughts, particularly when we have nobody else with whom we can articulate our thoughts. Journaling is a great way of doing that. Something I'd encourage you to try before we meet one another again, and possibly for the skeptics amongst us, this is a technique I tried to get me into journaling. I want you to try it for a week. Now, for those of you who've never journaled, will be thinking, I don't even know where to start, I wouldn't know what to write about. Don't clutter your thinking with that. Day 1, I want you to journal for 1 minute and 1 minute only. And on day 2, I want you to journal for 2 minutes and 2 minutes only. Guess how many minutes you do on day 3? 3 minutes. 4 minutes on day 4, right through to day 7. Well, I want you to do 7 minutes. Now, day 1, you'll sit there with your pen in your hand thinking, what am I going to write? Chewing the end of your pen, don't know what to talk about. By day 7, when those 7 minutes are up, you're going, oh, I've got so much I want to write about. Try it. I'd really, really encourage you to try it before we meet again. I'd love to hear your feedback on that. Okay, so reflect happy, mindful happy. We've talked about mindfulness and meditation with regards to willpower, but I cannot stress enough about the clarity of thought, about how mindfulness can help you to reinforce new habits. As I say, mindfulness professionals have got a most amazing, the MBSR program, mindfulness-based stress reduction. This complements that really neatly, because this looks about how we can use those techniques to help us towards increased happiness and helping that fulfillment in our own lives. That's a lovely session. And then the final one is talking about sharing happy. Let's make a happy world around us. Let's make the people around us happy. We are by nature social creatures. We've already looked at Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Belongingness plays a massive part in terms of the contribution it makes towards our happiness. Some things we'll explore here are around emotional intelligence, Dan Goleman's model, and how we can use that to help us understand the importance of sharing happiness, creating a happier place around us. And we'll focus specifically on the relationship management piece of that. William James talks about, a desire to be appreciated as individuals. So those are the 6 steps to happiness. That's the how you can be happy. I've whizzed through them now, but that's just to give you a taster of some of the things that we will talk about and that we can explore in more detail. But hopefully that gives you, a real good indicator of some of the things that you can do right now to help you to feel happier.